Hey, what's going on, guys? aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 career mode, episode number 123 today for the Bahrain Grand Prix in Season 7. If you did miss the previous one, 122 at the Chinese Grand Prix, be sure to go see that one before you check out this one, uploaded a couple of days ago, so you might have missed it, maybe, so be sure to get caught up before you continue on with the rest of this one. But we go into Bahrain, then typically one of the more difficult races really on the calendar on this year's game, really, because the AI are very good around the track, and more so kind of just very consistent, really, compared to other circuits where maybe sometimes they drop some lap times here and there, depending on the kind of lap and the circumstance in the race. But around Bahrain, during the race especially, they're very consistent and always on it. So it's going to be a tricky one, and of course, that does make things great for us, because we should be trying to perform at our maximum right now at the moment. If you haven't been caught up with the last few episodes of the career mode, basically, at the moment, the way things stand is we're just trying to do the best job we can do personally in the car to try and get the reputation up as best we can for other teams, because I really want to get a contract offer for the mid-season to move away from the Silver Arrow. I've done personally that all I want to do in this team, which was win the World Championship last season, so I want to move away, and so we're trying to do the best job we can. I feel like we have done it in Australia and China so far, 2 second places, both times, Perez and Hulkenberg pretty much in a world of their own, winning Australia and China respectively here, and so the maximum I could get was second place. Here at Bahrain, that may unfortunately be a little bit less, and it's going to be very difficult to try and beat Daniel Ricciardo on track, which is my actual in-game rival. Of course, the two main kind of counterparts of the reputation are Hamilton beating my teammate Hamilton, and then beating my rival, which at the moment is Ricciardo. As we come across the line then for our first lap in qualifying, it's not an amazing lap time, and so we do go out for a second flying lap. Of course, we're doing short qualifying up until we get to mid-season, then we'll probably move it back to the full 3 Q1, Q2, Q3 sessions of qualifying. But at the moment in short qualifying and in P7, you can see at the moment we've got Raikkonen ahead of us and Massa behind. In the top 10 though, so that's at least positive, because before in the past in Bahrain it's sometimes been a struggle even to get into the top 10, even though we've been in a top car, a la like Red Bull, Force India. But we come through the final corner then, you can see on the top right we've gained a bunch of time here, but will it be enough really as we come towards across the line? Still plenty of AI cars got lap times to do. We come across the line, and what I thought was a very decent lap time, unfortunately, is only good enough for 9th place, because as I said, there were plenty of AI still yet to set their second lap time there, and they exponentially improved. And unfortunately, the rival I was trying to beat, Ricciardo, is stuck on pole position. It's a 1-2 lockout for Red Bull Racing. So finally, Red Bull, after a bit of a sluggish start in the opening 2 rounds of this season so far, you must say, have come back to really dominate this session. And Hamilton doing a decent job. So not only did I get beat by my rival, I also got beaten by my teammate. So that pretty much cancels out any kind of hope I had about beating Ricciardo in the rivalry. There were 2 points in it on that kind of out of 30 total. And so that's pretty much set it. So there's no way I can beat Ricciardo. So that's going to be a huge dent to the reputation, so we're going to have to hope I can do a better job, and I have to do a better job in the race to hopefully get the reputation up of, well, we'll see what teams we're in. It's going to be hard to maybe beat Red Bull today with a front row lockout, but we'll always try our best. You guys know me, so let's go out there, let's go to the full grid, and then we'll get into it.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. It was a good showing from Red Bull in qualifying, and Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, and Ocon, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, a Mercedes, and Jolyon Palmer, Massa, Grosjean, Carlos Sainz, and Magnussen, Alonso, Stroll, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Pascal Wehrlein. Ericsson and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, so here we are then for the starting grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. In terms of the strategy today, it's going to be a 2-stop, but I'll most likely be converting that to a 2-stop using 2 sets of soft tires rather than 1 set of mediums, because that is a really poor race tire. It may go a lot longer, but just doesn't have much grip in it. It feels pretty damn bad around Bahrain, to say the least. So we'll be trying to do that if we can. But here we go then to 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Round number 3 of Season 7 is underway. So let's go out. It's a good start for us compared to Kimi Räikkönen. A little bit of a squirm there on the rear end in 3rd to 4th gear. We're able to get past the Iceman himself up into P8. We go down towards the middle of the circuit, although he's coming back at us. Kimi is down the inside. We're going down the inside ourselves of Hulkenberg, though, and you can see Hamilton has to cut the corner in turn 2 to try and battle. That is one of the Force India's best men, Ocon there. He's going to try and get in the slipstream. We're just about held onto the rear end of that car. We're going to try and go down the inside of Hamilton if we can. Punchy as ever, try and squeeze him out, and we have done so, and we're up into P6. So caught Hamilton napping there. Looks like he lost a lot of momentum and just generally kind of composure in the car when he went over the curbing in turn 2 to try and stick it side by side with Ocon there, and so we take an advantage. So up into P6, so good start for us, 3 positions gained. And so as we move ahead, looks like Verstappen is the one leading the way because he sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix as we cross the line for the second lap of the Grand Prix now. And you've got Ocon making a move on Vettel, so the Force India ahead of both Ferrari cars now. We're going to try and get ahead of the second Ferrari, already ahead of Raikkonen, of course, and now we've gone down the inside of Vettel and very, very harshly just squeezed him out there. No nonsense stuff from us today. And now for the lead of the Grand Prix, though, look at this, 3 wide, and the 2 Red Bull cars going side by side with Sergio Perez trying to stick down the inside, though. You've got Verstappen, I think, going the long way around on the left-hand side. I think that might be, or actually, no, I think that's Daniel Ricciardo. So Verstappen's lost the lead of this Grand Prix then, but he's done really well to keep in second place and keep the 1-2 for Red Bull ahead of Sergio Perez. We can see those 3 going side by side and 3 wide into sector 2. We've lost them a lot of time, and so Ocon and myself are closing up, especially Ocon. You can see in the distance there, looking like he wants to try and overtake Verstappen, who again is now being attacked by Sergio Perez as Ricciardo waltzes ahead. You can see on the mini-map there how much of a gap Ricciardo's got is ridiculous there on the mini-map there, also setting the fast lap of the Grand Prix. And now you can see Ocon's gone down the inside of Verstappen. I'm taking a wider entry into turn 1, trying to basically set this move up for myself in 2 corners time. And there we go on the outside there, a little shimmy in shade to try and catch the car as we get the traction and the power down, and we're up into P4 ahead of Verstappen. So Verstappen has lost 3 positions there in the span of about a lap and a bit, and we go down the inside of Ocon though and kind of hand back the position to Verstappen there as we kind of scare Ocon off the road almost. Looks like he just kind of just jumped out of the way, really. No contact was made, he just kind of got scared off there. So Verstappen then back up into what will be 4th, and we're up into 3rd. So good stuff for us to be in a podium position for now. But now we look at a replay now as we go on through the laps. This is Hamilton fighting Verstappen now. So Verstappen's already been re-overtaken by Ocon, I should say, and so now Hamilton's going to try and get him. So Verstappen falling away from what was a really good getaway off second place in this race, and he was in the lead for at least half a lap there on the opening lap. But now Hamilton now is trying to push him down to what would be about P6. You can see Hulkenberg there. Both Renaults were a really slow qualifying and slow start to this race. He's watching this with a bit of popcorn though, but as he goes through the left-handed then, you can see it's a puncher for Nico Hulkenberg. So the man who was leading the championship going into this race now has a puncher early on in this race, and he's going to go way down the order. It's a long way to go with a puncher from this part of the circuit there. Half a lap to go up the hill section, just coming up with that right front puncher, and so he's going to be pretty much out this race in terms of points, I think you could say, unless there's a safety car to come. So that's a big blow for the championship leader and opens up myself to maybe take the lead. But I think also Perez being ahead of us is going to also maybe have something else to say about that, because it looks like he's looking good to maybe try and catch Ricciardo. Although, as I mentioned, Ricciardo was looking pretty damn strong at the start there after he overtook Verstappen there. The gap he got was ridiculous after Verstappen started to fight Perez and Ocon. So you can see we made it to lap 8 then on our first set of super soft tyres. We're now onto a set of soft tyres, and we will be trying to do that kind of, default, but kind of a little altered default strategy of 2 sets of softs rather than mediums, avoiding that tyre, although it may go the distance. For me in the past, also, if you just look at the track record, the medium tyres, it's just a horrendous tyre, just got no pace around it. It has pace for maybe the first 5 laps, in terms of obviously compared to old worn tyres of the AI around you, but then really just the longevity of the pace just isn't there in the medium. So I'd rather go for 2 softs, and we should be able to comfortably make that because we're on lap 9 now. You've got to say if we just go another 9 or 10 laps, really, you get to lap 19 and then you just go another 10, and so it's kind of half and half. So we've timed it perfectly, and really most of the hard work was done on that first stint, trying to just stretch the super softs to a point where we're able to make this strategy work. And really now the question is, as we close up Tabasco Verline, is where Ocon and Verstappen feed out in this, because we may have lost some time trying to stretch that super soft to lap 8 to the end of it. So it's just about if we'd lost too much time on the super softs. Hopefully not, and I'm confident we haven't, but it's going to be definitely pretty damn close. Verline though isn't helping me here a little bit. I thought I could have caught him a lot faster, and actually to my surprise the Sauber is still ahead of us by the time we get through to the last sector here, but hopefully I can overtake him in a straight line and don't have to faff around trying to make a audacious move anywhere, but at the moment lunging through on the right-hander in 4th gear, trying to get the power down here, and I bump it up to Rich Mix, and I'm hoping we can try and get him into the final corner then with Slipster, and you can see that Sauber just doesn't have the speed. He moves back a little bit, which is a bit of a weird movement for Verline to make. We're down the inside, so a little bit of time lost here, because I do have to give him the space, because he is there. So I have to respect the fact he's got that pit at the track. But then, annoyingly enough, he comes into the pit, so it was all ready for nothing in the end. But that's fine there, because really the man I'm worried about is these two. Ocon then, and there goes Verstappen now into turn 1. It's going to be very close, but we just about get ahead there. And so it was crucial, really, that we didn't lose any more time to Verline. Good to see, but actually it looks like Verstappen's jumped Ocon then in the pit, so the Red Bull pit crew have done a great job there for him. But yeah, narrow stuff into turn 1. But we are ahead, we got the track position, and so now we just go about our business. But Perez, interestingly enough, is on super softs, and Ricciardo is actually on super softs as well. So both those leaders, 1 and 2, really in a class of their own in terms of they're able to go to 2 sets of super softs, and I'm pretty sure they're still going to make a 2-stop work there. They may be going to mediums, but they're still going to make it work. So, in a definitely class of their own compared to myself. And then the 2 cars behind me are Verstappen and Ocon, who are still fighting away hard. You can see Ocon closing right up to Verstappen here. And Verstappen with a big mistake there. Double lockup, and Ocon has been handed that position. That's a bad mistake from the Dutchman. So, as I said, from what was such a great getaway in this race now, he's just really not composed himself like his teammate has, Ricciardo, out in the lead of this Grand Prix. And so now he's going to be under pressure maybe from my teammate Lewis Hamilton. So Verstappen on the soft tyres, Ocon also on softs. It looks like most of the people on soft tyres. So really, yeah, Perez and Ricciardo, the only ones trying something different, and I suppose they can because they've got that pace. But we move on now to lap 18, and really, unfortunately, just truthfully, nothing really happened in that second stint for me personally. Just stayed ahead of Ocon, just kept the pace as best I could, and really just taking it to this point where I can now strap on a second set of soft tyres. And now we go to the end of this race. Ocon's pit on the same lap as me, so this time no question marks that I'm going to be ahead of Ocon. The only question mark is going to be Verstappen, because he's gone on for 1 more lap. So again, this might be close, because he may have some pace in the tank, and you just never know around this circuit in terms of how it's going to be in terms of the outlap versus the in-lap here. He might have saved some fuel. You can see confirmation there, as I said, on the top left. You can see Perez on medium tyres. I would suspect Ricciardo also on mediums, but at the moment it's still looking like it's Ricciardo ahead of Perez in that 1-2 fight, but both of them on that different strategy compared to us. They've been on those tyres now for about 2 more laps, so we will have fresher and faster tyres, but I think the gap is around 15 seconds or more to Perez, so I just don't see how we're going to catch Perez. So it's going to be the best we can hope for is 3rd place, but even that 3rd is going to be tricky, because as we go on now towards lap 20, it's that question mark of where Verstappen is going to be, and that dot on the minimap is not actually Verstappen, that's a lapped car. So as we cross the line now for lap 20, there he is now coming at the pit lane. This may be even closer than before. Verstappen braking for turn 1, we lock up on the front right tyre, and it's oh so close to making contact with his front wing, ultimately not, and we're up into 3rd place once again. But that was even closer than before, and that was, if we had made one little mistake on that outlap we had, just one lock up into a previous corner, then that could have been quite bad news for us. Because if Verstappen got ahead, I'm confident he would have the pace to keep it ahead. But in terms of the pace to overtake us, we had that straight line speed advantage, which obviously is a lot of is everything here at Bahrain in terms of getting the good exit off the final corner. And that's exactly what Ocon is proving with that Mercedes powered Force India. Around the outside he goes of turn 1 to the inside of turn 2, cuts the corner though, and Verstappen does keep ahead. So these two battling away though is a good thing for me, because you can see out in the distance people battling away. That's all great for me, because these two are just losing time, and I'm just going to be soaking that in, taking that to my advantage, and extending that gap to them. And Verstappen defending hard to keep his 4th place at the moment. But now Ocon is in the inside of him in the S section, and that's a really nice battle going off between the Dutchman and the Frenchman. And all the while that they're doing this is not only me getting time, getting away from them, they're also losing time to that Ferrari of Vettel in the background there. So that's not good news for both of them. Meanwhile though, for the lead this Grand Prix, it's going to be Sergio Perez. Finally though, the entire race long, it's looked like Ricciardo's had this comfortably, but now Sergio Perez into the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Ricciardo down to 2nd, so the man who won Australia is now leading the way for round number 3 in Season 7 as we move back on board with us. That 25 now, and Ocon is now going to try and attack me. He's overtaken Verstappen, and now he comes for my blood as we go towards the outside of the circuit to defend. We take a wide line, cut in a bit more aggressively, and we're able to keep ahead just about in 3rd place there. Ocon still lurking though behind me with Verstappen also there, so I start leaning towards the inside there to try and defend my position as soon as I can see Ocon there in the proximity arrow going red, and Verstappen meanwhile though will try and move on the outside. Then we ride on board with him, and he's trying to jostle for position here with Esteban Ocon there, and I think he should have this. Actually, he'll be way ahead of Ocon as they go into the S section, and this time he's successful, and he gets back up into 4th place then. So Verstappen, although he's not had the greatest of pace ever since that first stint, he's fighting very hard indeed to keep 4th at least, and at the moment I've had to fight hard to try and keep 3rd, but I think for now we should be good. 4 laps to go, and it looks like these two are set to fight even more, so I'm hoping that they can fight way more than they have so far, and I can kind of just keep comfortable in 3rd place there. But you can see Ricciardo still in 2nd there, so it looks like Perez, after making that move for the lead, is comfortably there in the lead now. I don't think that lead changes. I don't think there's going to be a lead change from now on. But now we move to looking back towards Ocon and Verstappen fighting once again, and you can see that Ferrari and Vettel lurking in the background as Ocon goes for a move down the inside there, and Vettel with DRS as well, just kind of being patient and just watching these two fight, and maybe he's going to try and pick a place to make a move as Verstappen again does really well to defend from Ocon. He's doing a top job here, but Ocon's just got that straight line speed advantage with that Mercedes engine. So is he going to go again around the outside? Yes, he will do. Now Verstappen locks up again in that same corner he did previously, although this time he's able to keep in it and keep fighting against Ocon. But now the Frenchman on the outside turns to the inside for the next left-hander. Will he squeeze out the Dutchman as we go through to a very awkward camera angle? I can just about see Ocon just behind Verstappen in the distance there, and Vettel is closing up even more. And also look at that in the background there, Hamilton, the two Renaults also closing up there, but Verstappen trying to go around the outside, and he's not made it work. He's locked up, nearly gone completely off circuit there, and now Vettel may have a pot, but you can see that entire time that's going to work straight into our advantage. We're nice and calm, keeping the gap, and actually it's a huge gap at the end there that we can just concentrate on and just relax a little bit in 3rd place. And so it will be Sergio Perez to take the flag for the win at the Bahrain Grand Prix, 2nd win of the season. Ricciardo in 2nd place, myself in 3rd, and I think that's pretty much the best we could have hoped for there. But thank you very much to Ocon, Verstappen for fighting so hard there for 4th place, because that allowed us to just relax a little bit, take the pressure off for 3rd place. And ultimately, as I said, yeah, the best we could do. But Perez, 2 wins now this season. He's looking good, and that will probably be the lead of the World Drivers' Championship, because of course, I did say the two Renaults were closing up with Hamilton there in the background, but actually Hulkenberg was still very much down the order. He was actually just a lapped car in that position there, although it looked like he was there fighting for those points, but he was not. So he moves down to 3rd. As a team, though, due to so far Hamilton really hasn't been scoring that many points, Mercedes moved down to 4th place in constructors. It's Force Indian 1st, Red Bull 2nd, Renault 3rd, and Ferrari even worse in 5th place there. And so the established top 2, Mercedes and Ferrari, from a couple of seasons ago in the career mode, now are in 4th and 5th, not what you'd be expecting. So reputation-wise, we actually gained a decent amount on Ferrari. Of course, though, being beaten by both Red Bull and Force India, that didn't do wonders for us, although we do gain a tiny bit on Renault, but the most we gained there was from Ferrari. But you can see both kind of pluses, +2s on the purple there. So overall, I think that was a good race for us, reputation-wise. Obviously not for Red Bull and Force India, but Ferrari, pretty good. It's tricky to call, really. At this stage, quite nervously, I can't tell if we're doing enough at this stage to earn a contract from another team. But in terms of, obviously, we lost the rivalry with Ricciardo, so now looking at the Drivers' Championship, I'm trying to see who our next rival could be. I kind of don't want it to be Perez or Hulkenberg or Ricciardo. I hope it's going to be Ocon and Verstappen, because obviously we're able to keep ahead of them today, so I'm hoping it'll be that, but more logically, it might well be Hulkenberg or Perez, which is going to be tricky then to beat my in-game rival there. And so it's still a very uneasy, first half of this season to really make sure to try and see if we can actually get this contract. But nonetheless, guys, if you have enjoyed that episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next time.